Hello and welcome to lesson number 3 of Learning Violin with me, where we work through the essential elements of Violin Book 1 together. So, let's get started. The first thing we want to do is we want to tune our violin. So, this is the last time we'll do this together, and then lessons going forward, we'll each tune individually before the video starts so that we can get right to the music. But I wanted to show you one more time the process of tuning. So we start with the violin facing us, or you can have it on your lap like this, whatever's most comfortable. I'm going to have it facing me. Oh, I forgot. I have to start the 15-minute timer because that's how long we're going to go this lesson. So here we go. 15-minute timer is started. All right, here we go. It's a tuning. So on the very left, when the violin's facing you, is the G string. I have my online tuner here. So I'm going to play the G tone here. And we want our G to sound the same as this G. So I'm going to try mine. Wow, it's actually right on. Good. If yours isn't, you can pause this at any time, adjust your G before moving on. The next string is D. So next one going over to the right is D. We want to match this pitch. Let's see. It's a little bit flat, which means the pitch is a little lower than it needs to be, which means I need to take this tuning peg and I need to crank it just a little bit to tighten the string a tiny bit so that the pitch raises a little bit. So. All right, let's see if it matches. There we go. Moving on to A. Let's see if it matches. Not at all. All right, listen to the A. Ooh, that is flat. So again, I need to tighten this string by turning the tuning peg away from me. You can do that with one hand and then strum with the other. All right, let's see if it matches. Yep, and it's helpful for me to hum the pitch so that I don't lose it in my ear. You can do the same thing if you want. And here is E. All right. Okay, we seem pretty good to go. If you're still tuning, take your time. Don't worry about rushing through, and definitely don't keep it out of tune while you're practicing, because that is vital to being able to learn the songs, is having, especially when we start switching strings, having these all in tune. So feel free to pause it at any point of any lesson to practice whatever we're working on a little bit longer before continuing on. Okay, here we go. So we are using our violin in guitar position, and I actually have my violin plugged in to an amp today because it's an electric violin, so that hopefully you'll be able to hear it a little bit better. So here we go, that's what this chord is. Okay, we have our violin in guitar position, which means it's resting on our right leg against our stomach. Let me get the timer. All right, 12 minutes left, very good. Then we have the scroll facing the left-hand side, and it's up tilted toward our shoulder while it's resting on our right leg. Then we are going to hold it gently with the left hand. Remember not to touch the strings with your left fingers, or else it'll dampen the vibration and it won't make a sound. So you want to just kind of hold the edges carefully. And then we are going to take our right thumb, and we are playing right now on the D string. So it's the second one going down. And we're playing right about here on the violin. Okay? So let's review where we were at. We were on page 5, and we had just completed number 8, Count Carefully. But I actually want to go back and review and play number 7, mix them up, then number 8, then we'll move on to new stuff. I know it can be frustrating sometimes when you're practicing because you want to just keep learning new stuff, keep, But the really important things we have to get these foundations solid, and that will make it easier moving forward. So reviewing the last few things we did is super, super important. And I know it can be frustrating, but it is really, really necessary. So let's look at number 7. The reason I want to review number 7 again is because that is the song where we started switching between the D and the A string more frequently. So we're getting our hands and our fingers used to the distance between the two and also feeling where they are. Because remember, try your best not to look down, but just feel where the different strings are. And if that means you mess up and you have to try it one more time and pause this video, try it again, that's totally fine. It might have happened to me, and if it does, you are stuck doing it along with me. So here we go. All right, number 7. We're starting on the D string, which is the second one going down. And then we are playing the A string, which is the third string going down. We're playing quarter notes and quarter rests. Here we go. Let's try number 7, see what we remember from last time. 1, 2, ready, play. How'd you do? Great. Let's try it one more time. Here we go. 1, 2, ready, play. Now notice those rests. Whenever we have rests, we are supposed to be hearing nothing. It's supposed to be silent. So I actually want to try something. I want to try that one more time. But I want us to dampen the string that we had just played so that the sound doesn't last through the rest. So for example, in measure number 1, you see D, A, D, rest. If I just play the D, listen to how it carries on through the rest. The sound lasts through that rest. And technically, it should be totally silent. So this time, I want to try to dampen the string after we play it. Now, not right away, because a quarter note needs to last for 1 beat. So it's not just like play it and then stop it right away. It has to last through the beat. It has to last until beat number 4. But when it does, I want us to try to gently touch, don't play, but just touch the string to stop the vibration, and then I'll stop the sound. Let me show you what I mean. Here is measure 1 without me stopping the note. Here's me stopping the note on beat 4. Did you hear how I stopped it? Not right away, but on beat 4. Listen, I'll actually count this time. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? So let's try playing through this song, number 7, mix them up, and let's try dampening on beat 4 all 3 times that it happens. Here we go. 1, 2, ready, play. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. All right, let's try that one more time because I know we added another element of something to do there. So let's just practice it one more time before moving on. Here we go. Ready, play. Great. All right, let's go to number 8. We're going to continue doing that. We're going to continue dampening the strings every time we see a rest. I'm not entirely sure if that's what is necessary, but especially because pretty soon we are going to be using the string. So then you would stop playing the bow if you didn't want to keep the note continuing, right? But because it's ringing out, just through my training, I just don't want a note ringing out because then that to me makes it sound like it should be a half note or something like that. So we're going to dampen it, okay, just so that we can get in the habit of having it be complete silence during the rest. All right, number 8, let's try it and dampening after each of the quarter notes that have a rest afterwards. Here we go. Number 8, count carefully. Ready, play. Oh, nope. I noticed something I should have looked. Remember that there's a repeat sign at the end. And when you see a repeat sign, the double bar line with the 2 dots, that means go back to the beginning in this case and play it 2 times through. Here we go. 1, 2, ready, play. I got very close to forgetting about that repeat sign, but I jumped right back in. All right, let's try. I know there's a lot for your brain to manage during this, so let's try, and mine too. Let's try it one more time, repeating it and remembering to dampen during the rests. Here we go. 1, 2, and ready, play. Great job. All right, let's move on to the essential elements quiz. I love me a test. All right, so if we look at the whole thing, we'll see pretty much everything that we've learned up until this point. We see D's, we see A's, we see quarter rests, quarter notes, we see a repeat sign at the end. So remember, go back and play it again without adding any beats there, right? So you just go from beat 4 of the last measure back to beat 1 of the first measure the second time through without adding any beats or any time in between there. All right, let's sight read this, which means trying it for the very first time. See how we do. Here we go. Nice and slow tempo. 1, 2, ready, play. Repeat. Okay, great. Let's try it one more time, a little bit faster. Is your scroll up by your shoulder? Adjust your posture if you have to. And see, notice that I'm tapping my foot to the steady beat. That's just so that I remember what that pulse is supposed to be. All right, here we go. Let's try one more time. 1, 2, ready, play. We did it. All right, time to turn the page. We have 2 minutes left to look at the next page. Shaping the left hand. Yay! Okay, let's see what this is all about. The D string notes. So it looks like we're going to stay on this D string here, and we're going to start playing different notes on the fingerboard, which is right here. It's where you put your fingers. So to change notes on the strings, you push your fingers down, you push the string down into that fingerboard securely, and that essentially changes the length of the string. And the shorter the string, the higher the sound. So that's why if I play down here, but then I move up here, that's why this note is so much higher than this note, because I've essentially made the string so much shorter when I press down here, because now the string's only this long. So that's what we're going to be doing. We're going to be changing notes on the D string. Yay, exciting. Okay. Step 1, shape your left hand as shown. Be certain your palm faces you. So what it looks like is finger 1, finger 2 and 2 and 3 are together, and then finger 4 is here. So your first finger is number 1 when you see that in the music. Your middle is finger 2, your ring is finger 3, and your pinky is finger 4. Your thumb is not playing any notes on the strings. So you kind of have 2 and 3 stuck together like that. And this is kind of the shape that we're going to be making on the strings, apparently. And I can tell you a little bit of the theory behind that while we go. Step number 2, bring your hand to the fingerboard. So first we're looking at it, and now we're going to bring it to the fingerboard onto the D string. Place your fingers on the D string, keeping your hand shaped as shown below, which means fingers 2 and 3 are pretty much touching, and there's space between fingers 1 and 4. Oh! All right, time's up. Let's finish this point. Keeping your hand shaped as shown below. Be sure your first finger forms a square with the fingerboard. That means that your finger is pointing perpendicular from the fingerboard. So it's not like this, touching the other strings. It's like straight out. And your wrist is relaxed and straight. That is a super, super important thing. You don't want to develop any wrist issues by having bad technique while you're playing. I know that's always been drilled into my head being a piano player. Same with guitar players, ukulele, string players. You have to make sure that you develop good wrist posture, and you want to keep it kind of in a neutral position as much as possible. G is played with 3 fingers on the D string. So that means your pointer, your middle, and your ring finger. G's played there. F sharp is played with 2 fingers on the D string. And E is played with 1 finger on the D string. So the way that what I remember my little bit from college is, just as a rough estimate, it's about an inch further up the D string is where your E is played, where that's found. Then about another inch is where your F sharp is found. That's where you put your middle finger. And then a half an inch, or pretty much right next door, is where the G is played with your ring finger. Now the reason is, quick theory lesson, the reason that there's more space here than here is to get from E to F sharp is a whole step, which means 2 notes on the piano, right? So it's a whole step. So you need more space because you're moving the sounds further distance apart. Then F sharp to G is only a half step. That's the closest you can of 2 notes can be, is a half step apart. That's like playing a black note and then the very next white note on the piano. So you can't get any closer. That's called an interval, the space between 2 notes. This interval is only a half step, which means you need to move the string, or you need to adjust where you're putting your fingers. You don't need to go as far up the string because you don't need to change the pitch as much. So from D, which is open, to E is a whole step, right? So 2 half steps. So that's why you're leaving about an inch. And this is all rough, and this is from stuff I learned a long time ago. But we will be able to tell, you'll be able to tell whenever we play it next lesson how important these kind of distances are. So from D to E is a whole step, and that's why we're leaving an inch. From E to F sharp is a whole step, which is why we're leaving an inch, leaving some space there. And then from F sharp to G is a half step. That's the closest that 2 pitches can be that we play them, which is why we're not leaving as much space in between. Okay. That being said, I went over a little bit, but that's okay. It's good to finish the point. And we will start our next lesson on page number 6, where we will be learning how to play E, F sharp, and G on the D string. Can't wait to see you there. See ya.